Commissioned by President Thomas Jefferson in the early 19th century, Lewis and Clark explored and mapped a large portion of the United States, recently acquired by the Louisiana Purchase. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark departed from Missouri on what would be a 2.5-year journey. Along the way, they recorded observations of various Indian tribes, wildlife, and plant life they came across on their journey. The most direct and practicable water communication across this continent for the purpose of commerce is what Thomas Jefferson referred to as the goal of the expedition. The Lewis and Clark expedition provided monumental breakthroughs and information that allowed for the United States to expand westward.
The United States purchased the Louisiana Territory from France. The Louisiana Purchase added over 800,000 square miles of land to the United States. The purchase doubled the size of the country. The area included all or part of 13 present-day states, such as Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. In 1804, President Thomas Jefferson sent Captains Meriwether Lewis and William Clark along with a crew of skilled boatmen, hunters, and soldiers to explore the new territory. Their mission was to map the region, observe the plants and wildlife, learn the customs of the Indians, and try to find a river route from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean.
We join the expedition now as they pitch camp on the banks of the Missouri River in what is today South Dakota. The date is late September of 1804. After a long day traveling on the river, the crew has gathered around the campfire to discuss the day's event. I estimate we traveled about 12 miles today, right? Right here at the halfway point, Reuben Field spotted a little creek, so we can name that Reuben Creek in his honor.
Yeah, right.
And then about 2 miles ago, we crossed that little island in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good day's travel, right?
Yeah, it's fun. That's a good day's travel.
Everyone's in good humor?
I'm in good humor.
All right,
fun.
Good humor island.
Good humor island. Did anybody else see any wildlife? Did you see any wildlife?
I saw a herd of buffalo.
Oh, did you shoot any?
Didn't get any though. But I got 5 elk.
You got, ooh.
Guess we're having elk
for dinner.
for dinner. Day.
Yeah. Every day.
After day.
Yeah, I saw some wildlife too.
Really?
Yeah, it was like this. It looked like a groundhog. It had thick fur and some ears, and then some feet, like 4 feet, big claws, and yeah, it was a nasty little thing. I don't know what it is. It might. I think it stood up on its hind legs, a barking squirrel or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Whole
know.
colony of them?
Yeah. Do you know? I don't know. Do the French call? What do the French call?
Oh, the French call that like what? The Brero?
The Brero.
Right. Or the Pawnees call it the Cuckachoo.
Cuckachoo?
The Kuka something.
Cuckachoo. Yeah. Anybody else see any wildlife?
Nothing but these pesky
Skeeters. The members of the Lewis and Clark expedition were among the very first Americans to encounter many new and interesting animals. The barking squirrels Reuben Field saw are what we now know as prairie dogs.
And the animal that got Peter Cruzet so excited, known to the French trapper as the Brero and the Pawnees as the Choucartouche, was a badger. The pesky skeeters bothering Silas Goodrich were, of course, pesky mosquitoes.
By October, Lewis and Clark had journeyed into what is now North Dakota. There they met a Shushan woman named Sacagawea and her husband Toussaint Charbonnier, a French-Canadian trader. Knowing that Sacagawea could help them meet with Indians, Lewis and Clark asked the couple to join the expedition.
We now join Lewis and Clark in April of 1805 in present-day Montana. Sacagawea has run into people of her own tribe, the Lemhi Shoshain. Her brother, Camoe, is their chief. Lewis and Clark are meeting with Camoe. Sacagawea is serving as a translator between her brother and Lewis and Clark.
Sacagawea, we must begin to visit these civilized lands. Offer Mr. Clark my peace pipe.
My brother would like to offer you his peace pipe. His peace pipe.
Thank you for the peace pipe.
Not all of my peace pipe.
He would like his peace pipe back.
I'd like to offer him this medallion of Thomas Jefferson, our chief, as a greeting.
He would like to give you his medallion, the chief of his nation, Thomas Jefferson.
Look at this dude. What is this hair? My dude. Do you think we should have him over for dancing tonight?
I must warn you, these people, they dance like foxes chasing their tail. I've seen them before.
You think we should have him over?
Yes.
Invite Mr. Clark over for dancing. Tell them there'll be a peace pipe.
Mr. Clark, we would like to invite you over for dancing tonight.
Will there be peace pipe?
Yes. We must
Did
dance.
he say yes?
We must dance.
Lewis and Clark traveled on from Montana into the Oregon Territory and all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Then their mission completed. They headed back. Along the way, Sacagawea and Charbonnier left the expedition. They parted on friendly terms with Lewis and Clark and the crew.
It's now September 23rd, 1806, the last day of Lewis and Clark's expedition. Their boats are approaching the city of St. Louis. Hundreds of excited townspeople have gathered at the river to meet them. The crew fires off their rifles.
Here's Mr. Lewis and Clark coming in on their boats.
Hello, villagers of the neighborhood.
Hey, Mr. Lewis and Clark, did you guys see any fierce Indians?
We saw many Indians, but not very many fierce ones. We danced with them, we traded with them, we passed the peace pipe around. The Indians were pretty friendly, actually.
Did you guys see any ferocious animals?
Yeah, we saw this huge, like, land shark.
Whoa. You can't scare the children.
Okay, well, like, there was also, like, this little white bunny and, like, a squirrel. They're pretty
Squirrel's
cute.
cute. I mean, but there is some dangerous animals out there.
Did you guys at least make it to the Western Sea?
We did, and actually, we couldn't go all the way by river. We had to go part by land. It was kind of difficult.
Yeah, and the new territory is so much bigger than we thought. It goes way past the mountains and the rivers.
Yeah, we brought back samples if you'd like to see.
Yeah,
Come.
of course. These.
The expedition returned with a bow and arrows, Indian pottery, hundreds of samples of plant life, the skins of foxes, badgers, elk, and a yellow bear or grizzly skin, obtained through a trade with the Sioux Indians. And oh yes, they brought back a live barking squirrel.
Lewis and Clark sent Thomas Jefferson what they'd found along with a report on their journey. This information proved extremely important to the settling of the American West. Lewis and Clark's adventure opened the door for other pioneers.
All right, we're gonna have to start. All right, come on, quick, we gotta go.
I'm gonna die. I can't. Alright, here we go.
My butt's gonna be so wet. We must begin to visit these civilized lands. All for Mr. Clark, my peace pipe. Come on. Stop.
Sorry, Reese.
No laughing. All right, ready, set, go. Sacagawea. Reese, knock it off. It's not that funny.
I know it's not funny.
God, Dude, we gotta get this done.
I know we do.
Lou? Hey. Wait.
You're alive.
Yeah, so you interrupted our recording.
Hello, neighborhood villagers.
Hello, villager.
It's fine if there's a little bit of a laugh.